we are calling on the president to harness those resources.
Absolutely.
And if for you to do that, you must have people out there that know Nigeria in the first place.
So he needs to engage more. Basically.
He needs to get the right people into the office, and he needs to be a Democrat. This is not allegation. I said this government is dominated by khaki strokers and kleptocrats.
Yeah.
He needs to dominate his government.
But that's always been the story of Nigerian governments, hasn't it?
He needs to dominate his government with Democrats.
Right.
The people that worked for him to be elected. The people that will realize his dream. The people that will look at him in the face and say, Mr. President, this is wrong. Let's do it this way. And he will argue. And he's that person that takes superior argument. But when you gather kleptocrats and you gather khaki strokers, the end result is what defines them.
Yeah, address to His Excellency the Senate President, Dr. Godswill Oborokpabio, President of the Senate, complaint against the unbecoming utterances of Senator Ali Ndume. I'm writing on behalf of the National Working Committee of our great party to express our displeasure, our outrage, and our deep disappointment at the unbecoming, unfounded, and baseless criticism of the government and the party, the APC, by your majority whip of the Senate, Senator Ali Ndume. As a member of the ruling party, we expected a much more responsible and decorous behavior from him. But this has not been the case. His uncouth and rabid outbursts against the governments before the international community and before the global community is not only harmful to the government's image alone, but also undermines the party's unity and cohesion. And in addition, undermines the government's efforts to bring in foreign direct investment to Nigeria. As he's a ranking member of our party, his actions are unbecoming of a senior member of the Senate and sets a very poor example for others in future to follow. His latest tirade, I hope I'm right, on air during a program on Rise Television, where he referred to the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, as being run by thieves, portrays Ali Ndume as a person who is bent on running the country down and running the party aground through incitement and cheap propaganda. We have the view that Senator Ali Ndume should honorably resign his membership of the APC and join any opposition party of his choice formally, instead of hiding behind the veil of grass activism to decimate the hard-earned cohesion and goodwill that our party, the APC, is enjoying within and outside the country.
And your point is that this is a bad time for that to happen because the country is going through a major economic crisis.
And the government also inherited a very bad situation.
Yeah.
So you need somebody that is decisive like him, but it is not enough to be strong and be decisive. Of course, when you take any action, there must be consequence and there must be something that you need to do. So, like now, this removal of oil subsidy. Let me tell you that he abruptly announced this removal of oil subsidy. And I supported him because I was thinking that there is going to be a program that will take us out of the hands of these few people that are, draining the economy in the name of subsidy. And the savings from that will now be utilized for the people. And I'm saying that instead of fuel subsidy that you remove, then you engage in other subsidies that are important, like food stamp, like making food available. And that is not by doing palliatives. Palliatives are temporary measures. So if you have experts around that knows this thing, then you will not be, overreacting. Instead, you will be managing the situation and carrying Nigerians along. Nigerians know the situation. It is not peculiar to Nigeria only. It is worldwide. The issue of hunger is worldwide. So if Nigerians are made to know that this is a problem that we have to face collectively, Nigerians are good.
Well,
I always want to talk from the background of knowledge and facts.
Yeah, I understand that.
But as I told you, I one time asked initially the GMD of NMPC now that, wait a minute, you said we'll be saving 1 trillion by removing the oil subsidy. I said, where is the money? And he said, there's no money. I said, what? What do you mean there's no money? He said, no. Before the removal of the subsidy, what they're facing is that they have to borrow, or they are running at a loss. So they have, so
basically, whatever monies are there will just go to fill those gaps.
Yeah, fill those gaps. That if they recover and there is profit because they are now a corporation, they will pay the money to the government. And I say, wow, so why are you asking us to make sacrifice? And immediately after that, I was thinking that the Nigerian government, and I still argue on that now, that we are talking about fuel subsidy. Now we have problem with food. Why don't you introduce food stamps? I'm yet to hear that. And the Senate passed a motion that I brought that they should introduce food stamp. And look, let me say here again, this subsidy matter is not the problem. It is how it is being managed.
Right.
It is overwhelmed by corruption. But if not, Nigeria, check, the American government right now is subsidizing about 13 interventions, excluding fuel. But they subsidize agricultural products.
Yeah, but they have the money
food.
to do it.
Well, my fear, as I told you, is that you can ask people to be patient, to be tolerant, but if they can't get what 1 square meal comfortably, or even struggle to get one, and where you have, I hope you are aware, and that's why I'm worried, that looking at what has happened in Kenya, and even looking at what our youths are posting in the social media, looking at their actions or the threat, and then when I call the people in the villa, I don't want to mention name, but me, I don't fear if it gets to that. I said, are you aware? And I sent the message out to them. Are you aware that people are very angry out there? Are you doing something about it? And the response is that, yes, we are aware it's the work of opposition. I say we are finished. Because no opposition would want to bring down the roof of the country on itself. Because they are in the country. So if the country collapses, is it only going to collapse on the ruling or the governing party? No. So when people in power start responding like that, then I'm worried. I'm worried for this president. I'm worried for myself. Well, there's problem out there. A bag of rice is now selling for 100,000. A bag of maize is selling for 100,000. My wife was telling me that a basket of tomato is about 100,000 too. Onions. Every food is going up, the price. Inflation is 40%. The value of our naira is going down. And then, not only that, when you tell people in government that, hey, people are hungry, angry, and they are preparing, or there are signs that they will revolt, and you say, no, don't worry about them. That is very, very dangerous. And I hope this will be, to me, God will exonerate me because I told them. And many Nigerians today told me and encouraged me to come for this year program, speak out on our behalf. And that's why I was elected. If the government doesn't do anything, there will be problem.
Well.